The arrival of June in 2023 served a bitter cocktail of anticipation and anxiety, neatly entwined around the Titanic event, a long-awaited art exhibition. The hours leading up to the event echoed a symphony of chaotic harmony, a marquee full of talented artists, a labyrinth of majestic pieces on display, and an array of starry-eyed visitors with their sophisticated critiques. All this should have brewed a spirit of exuberance within me, an intoxication of triumph, but all I felt was a responsible dread. Seeing Amelia amidst a crowd of familiar faces served an unwelcome twist. Her presence ignited the embers of our bygone times, wrapping the preceding evening in a veil of discomfort. Art drew us together once, and here we were once again, under the same roof, not for love, not for friendship, but for art. Our interactions were casual, mingling in with silk laughter, shallow compliments, and politically correct inquiries about each other's well-being. Yet underneath was a teetering bridge of unvoiced thoughts and lingering sentiments. Amidst the jazz sophistication of the moment, it seemed the spurned artist was not just depicted on my canvases, but was very much alive in person. Where once her presence in my world added bold strokes of exuberance and passion, now it only painted a watermark of past discomfort, a subdued outline in contrast to the vivid colors of my life, both personal and artistic. The evening rolled on, but the lump in my throat remained hard as stone, subtly dragging me down within an ocean of swirling emotions. Attempting to converse in the crowd, my consciousness was splintered between the clamor of the art scene and the eerie echo of our silenced love. For a fleeting moment, our eyes locked across the room. Her eyes, two oceanic orbs, once my home for inspiration, no longer held the same gleam. A wave of embarrassment washed over me at the realization that the very same artist who praised my work last year was nothing more than a polite stranger, exchanging customary pleasantries now. Becoming background noise amidst the orchestrated symphony of creative minds was a thought I never welcomed until now. The evening spiraled into an endless play of social niceties and professional respect for the art industry, yet the lingering taste of our past interactions seeped into the suit-clad atmosphere, dimming my normal, vibrant aura. The idea of something as visceral as art, bringing us together yet again, however, was an ironic reality too tough to digest. Each brushstroke etched on a canvas brought back a memory. Each nuance of color resembled the spectrum of our once-shared dreams, and each masterpiece mirrored the beautiful disaster we ended as. Bitterly realizing that my sharp outing from her life had turned me into a vague outline on her canvas was a hard pill to swallow, a sting worse than the harshest critic in the room tearing my work apart. I allowed the art critic within me to rise, not for judging the surrounding masterpieces, but for pondering over the failed artistry of our relationship. Each unveiled artwork, each applause, each critique was a razor-sharp reminder of the bond we once shared, of art, love, ambition, and passion, casting an uncomfortable pall on the gilded interaction of the evening. And here was an artist bearing the brunt. Her voice, disarmingly angelic, cutting through the murmur around, bounced off the high ceilings, making me realize how her once enchanting radiance, rather ironically, had started to shroud my reality. Drowning amidst the trophy-lined walls and suave tuxedos was the artist Andrew, struggling to breathe in the same room with Amelia. In July, I was celebrating another year added to my life. A semblance of cheerfulness filled my downtown loft, as my closest friends rallied to make the occasion special. Yet, amidst the laughter and camaraderie, there was a storied absence that year: Amelia. It was the first time I was celebrating my birthday without her, since we fell into the haze of love, and despite my best efforts to keep up with the festivities, the emptiness of her absence was certainly palpable. Disposable cameras were flashing, capturing the artificial gleam in my eyes as I cut the cake, with sympathetic eyes casting furtive glances at me throughout the evening. There was a certain irony to it all. Here was the artist, hiding beneath layers of faux smiles, painting a happy disguise over the melancholic canvas of that night. I could feel myself retreating into the solitude of my own thoughts, escaping the vivid reality flashing before my eyes. Lost in the maze of my mind, I found myself dwelling on the memories of our past birthdays spent in each other's company. The tenderness of her laughter, her love-infused gaze locked onto mine, the warmth of her presence adding an extra spark to my day. These once cherished memories were now mere reminiscences of a time gone by, echoing painfully in the chambers of my heart. As a portrait of her, beautiful as ever, looked down at me from the wall where it once weaved tales of our bond, I was overcome with a strong sense of nostalgia. In that moment, it wasn't the success of my corporate resignation, the recent acclamation from critics, or the promising state of my career as a full-time artist that held my focus. Instead, it was the spiral of memories that washed over me, of a love lost, of the highs and lows we braved together, of the shared intimacies and fought disagreements, and of an artist who found a muse and lost her, all at once. The magnitude of those memories blurred the charm of the present, pulling me into the sweet sorrow of past reveries. The starry-eyed painter in me longed for the familiarity of her affection in every color splashed across my canvas, a yearning that perhaps amplified even more on that particular day. My birthday, thus, ended more like a tale of echoing solitudes, of yearnings and heartaches, painted in the hues of melancholy, overshadowed by an absence far too prominent to ignore. And so, I found myself celebrating my existence in the shadow, cast by a once-cherished bond, disguising my heartache with a birthday crown. As August rolled in, I found myself at another one of those bustling art festivals that light up New York. Summer heat hung in the air, remnants of the delightful birthday celebration still fresh, yet my heart was heavy with her absence. Her presence hovered around, shadowing me as I moved around the festival, her favorite kind of events. She, who talked about experiencing art with all senses, would have loved it here. The vibrant colors of the canvases, the infectious enthusiasm of fellow artists, the murmurs of art admirers, all following me like a haunting melody, echoing Amelia's joy at such gatherings. Her uninhibited laughter would find a way to my ears, as if I still existed in a time where she was right next to me, whispering her impressions about each piece of art into my ear, her hand in mine. And yet again, there I was, alone, surrounded by the one thing she loved as much as me, art. However, amidst the whispering shadows of Amelia, I decided to channel my energies into the very purpose of my existence, my art. I was there, not as a heartbroken lover, but as an artist yearning to showcase his soul through his work. As I presented my work, ignoring the whispers of the past, the eyes of the critics burnt brighter. The high praise from them served as a beacon of affirmation in my wavering state that my work had its unique value and was indeed well worth the sacrifices I had made. Each nod, each appreciative remark served as a reminder of why I fell in love with this paint-splattered world of art. The festival, instead of being a stark reminder of the past, turned into a celebration of the promising future that I held as an artist. I realized once again that the essence of my art wasn't just about the romantic muses or personal heartbreaks. It was about my personal journey, my struggles, my triumphs, the very texture of my life. This revelation, or say a reminder, acted like a healing balm and started to soothe the raw edges left by Amelia's absence. Surprisingly, the void seemed to shrink a bit, and the colors on my canvas appeared a bit brighter, the lines a bit more defined. As summer peaked, I realized that despite being caught in a whirl of past emotions, there was an undeterred artist within me that relied on his passion to navigate through personal trials. August thus ended on a bittersweet note, a mix of longing cloaked in recognition, a heart wanting to mend amidst the thrill of making a mark in the world of art. It was a month of facing memories and reclaiming the passionate artist in me. And, most importantly, it was about keeping my love for art alive, no matter what came my way. Despite the emotional turbulence, I knew I had to keep moving forward with my career. I threw myself into my work with fervor and found refuge in the familiarity of my palette and the bristles of my brushes. Each application of color on canvas became a cathartic exercise, and my art began turning into a solitary beacon amidst a turbulent sea. There were nights when I would stand alone in my New York studio, listening to the silence around me, a stark contrast to the summer merriment right outside my window. I would then dive headlong into my art, letting my brush speak volumes when words failed me. These summer nights weren't just about painting. They were about raw expression, a tangible output of my emotional journey as a human and as a creator. My work began to mirror my internal struggles, a stark juxtaposition of vibrant and muted hues, layered textures on a canvas depicting the depth of my emotions, the bright strokes communicating my undying hope that flickered in my heart, the darker strokes reflective of moments of despair. In essence, my art became an embodiment of my personal journey, a vivid kaleidoscope of emotions unveiled through the strokes of my brush. Throughout these moments of highs and lows, however, there remained one constant, the unwavering spirit to celebrate my artistic pursuits passionately. By focusing on embracing every part of my journey, including the struggles, I learned to appreciate my art even more. The strings of praise from critics, the appreciative head nods at exhibitions, the moments of intimate and intense creation. These collectively created a sense of fulfillment that went beyond personal relationships, tying me unalterably to the world of art. Art, for me, wasn't just about joy or heartache. It was the unabridged story of my life, the reflection of my spirit as Andrew Green, the artist. It was about me finding myself in the array of colors, their amalgamation turning into visual tales of beauty and resilience. It was about standing steadfast during emotional earthquakes and still finding the sheer will to create, to liberate my spirit from personal anguish and channel it into something timeless. As August wrapped up, it wasn't just the end of another month. It was yet another chapter of me being passionately engrossed in the artful narrative of my life, embracing every poignant twist and mesmerizing turn. Amid the melancholy of relationship woes, my heart found solace in the warmth of August, in the sound of summer cicadas singing from the tree outside my studio window, in the wet brushes stained with a myriad of colors. As the month progressed, the city buzzed in anticipation of the annual New York Art Festival, a beacon of celebration for the art community, and I was intent on contributing my part. Despite Amelia's absence and the searing pain it brought, my determination didn't falter. The festival was a week-long euphoria of creativity, a play court for artists and critics alike, where we shared emotions through artistic voyages. And as one of the artisans, it was exhilarating, nerve-wracking, yet invigorating in a perplexing way. In the sea of different art pieces, each a reflection of an artist's unique voice, immense talent and complexity glared back at me from every corner. With the many accolades received by other artists and the looming pressure of critics' scrutiny, there were moments when doubt would start to cloud my mind, pulling me into a vortex of anxiety. However, these were the very moments that my inner artist chose to shine brightly, blinding the specters of anxieties and doubts. I focused on pouring what was within me onto my canvas. I let my vulnerability stare back at me through the hues of my art. When my piece of work, titled Isolation, was finally unveiled at the festival, I gazed at the enraptured faces of critics and beholders alike, gauging their thoughts and reactions. In their deep contemplative silence, I found an odd sense of gratification. And then, as if a dam had been breached, came a flood of appreciation that left me breathless, ego-boosted, and adrenaline rushing. Their positive reception of my work, their esteemed nod of approval, was the validation my neurotic heart yearned for. Each critique, each compliment, added a brick to the fortress of self-esteem that shielded me from my insecurities and negative self-judgment. Their praise wasn't merely an appraisal, it was a lifeline to my artistic soul. Through the highs and the lows, the temporary downfall and the rise, what stayed consistent was my undying spirit and my love for my craft. Amelia's absence, although a grave loss, was just a chapter in my journey, a journey full of similar battles and triumphs juxtaposed into the colorful tapestry of my life. August eventually wrapped up with a career high for me, leaving me riding high on the waves of validation and acceptance, pushing me closer to my ultimate dream. As the festival came to a close, I welcomed the serenity that washed over the art community, replaced by the usual sway of the city's heartbeats. Despite the high they had just come down from, New York City, the insomniac entity that never rested, seemed indifferent to the retreating euphoria of artistic celebration. My summer, however, was far from over. My art had received the recognition it deserved, and my heart was filled to the brim with validation and self-esteem, a sharp contrast to the occasional bouts of insecurity that often consumed me. My painting had touched the heartstrings of critics and art lovers alike, and this was the victory I had been eyeing since the inception of my journey into the world of fine arts. In the quiet after the storm, I found myself in the sanctum of my studio, basil-tinted paint still fresh on a palette, ready to embark on my next journey. The recognition was invigorating, filling me with newfound energy and fanaticism for my craft. Such is the power of validation, the quicksand of emotions, pulling me in, draping over my insecurities. As I reveled in my victory, a part of me missed celebrating it with someone. Amelia's absence loomed heavy in the room, a harsh reminder of the personal battle I was fighting. But every struggle, every setback, was a reminder of why I chose this path, why I took the plunge to devote my life to art, to express, to create, to heal. There was a sense of completion, yet a sense of yearning for more, a unique amalgamation of heartbreak and accomplishment as the sun set on August, marking the end of a chapter, but the beginning of many more. Amelia was woven into my journey as a contemporary fine artist, a thread in an intricate tapestry that was far from finished. But as an artist, I knew too well that loss was just another shade of color, adding depth, adding character to an unfinished art piece. Amelia, although absent, was an integral part of my story, a muse, a mentor, and more importantly, a memory that would continue to fuel my creativity. After all, the artist I am today is a culmination of my past relationships, my heartbreaks, my victories, and my endless pursuit of artistic expression. And as August bid goodbye, each accolade, each compliment from the festival was a beacon of light, leading me closer to my dreams, closer to the horizon dotted with unfeigned glory and acceptance.